Let's get it. We going live. We in there. Come on in. Welcome. All black everything. And we back with the new series. Did you know slash? We've been lied to slash. Did you know? All right. It says, what is the greatest obstacle to experience in this reality? Identification with your mind, which causes thought to become compulsive. Be able to stop thinking is a dreadful affliction, but we don't realize this because everybody is suffering from it. So it's so so it is considered normal. The incessant mental noise prevents you from finding that realm of inner stillness that is inseparable from being. It also creates a false mind made self that casts a shadow of fear and suffering. We will look at all that in more detail later. The philosopher Descartes, believed that he had found the most fundamental truth when he made his famous statement, quote, I think, therefore I am, end quote. He had in fact given expression to the most basic error, to equate thinking with being and identity with thinking. The compulsive thinker, which means almost everyone, lives in a state of apparent separateness in an insanely complex world of continuous problems and conflict, a world that reflects the ever increasing fragmentation of the mind. Enlightenment is a state of wholeness of being at one and therefore at peace, at one with life in its manifested aspect, the world as well as with your deepest self, and life unmanifested, at one with being. Enlightenment is not only the end of suffering and the continuous conflict within and without, but also the end of the dreadful enslavement to incessant thinking. What an incredible liberation that is. This is. Identification with your mind creates an opaque screen of concepts, labels, images, words, judgments, and definitions that blocks all true relationship. It becomes you and yourself, between you and your fellow man and woman, between you and nature, between you and God. It is this screen of thought that creates the illusion of separateness, the illusion that there is you and a totally separate other. You then forget the essential fact that underneath the level of physical appearances and separate forms, you are one with all that is. By, quote, forget, end quote, I mean, you can no longer feel this oneness and as self evident reality. You may believe it to be true, but you no longer know it to be true. A belief may be comforting only through your own experience, however, it does become liberating. Thinking has become a disease. Disease happens when things get out of balance. For example, there is nothing wrong with the cells dividing and multiplying in the body. But when this process continues in disregard of the total organism, cells proliferate and we have disease. The mind is a superb instrument if used rightly. Used wrongly, however, it becomes very destructive. To put it more accurately, it is not so much that you use your mind wrongly, you just don't use it at all. It uses you. This is the disease. You believe that you are your mind. This is the delusion. The instrument has taken you over. I don't quite agree It is true that I do a lot of aimless thinking, like most people, but I can still choose to use my mind to get and accomplish things, and I do that all the time. He says, just because you can solve a crossword puzzle or build an atom bomb doesn't mean that you're using your mind. Just as dogs love to chew bones, the mind loves to get its teeth into problems. That's why it does crossword puzzles and builds atom bombs. Duh. That's why, excuse me, you have no interest in either. Let me ask you this. Can you free your mind whenever you want to? Have you found the off button? You mean stop thinking altogether? No, I can't accept maybe for a moment or two. The mind is using you. You are unconsciously identified with it, so you don't even know that you are its slave. It's almost as if you were possessed without knowing it. And so you take the possessing entity to be yourself. The beginning of freedom is the realization that you are not the possessing entity, the thinker. Knowing this enables you to observe the entity. The moment you start watching the thinker, a higher level of consciousness becomes activated. You then begin to realize that there is a vast realm of intelligence beyond thought. That thought is only a tiny aspect of that intelligence. You also realize that all things that truly matter, beauty, love, creativity, joy, inner peace, arise from beyond the mind. You begin to awaken. Mm-hmm. Then we're gonna start right there. That's a beautiful place to start. The power of now. Get your enlightened. You got to remember that you are not your mind. Become the watcher of the thinker. You are not your thoughts. Start to rule your mind instead of allow it to rule you. Peace and love, y'all. All black everything. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Like you hitchhiking. Like you share, subscribe it. Hit that notification bell too. Yeah. Peace and love. All black everything. Think it's right. We've been lied to slash. Did you know?